Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, this is our distance learning program audiovisual for the month of April. Subject Social Studies, textbook Social Studies for today too. I'm your teacher Uruj Ali. So students, grab your book, open the book and turn page number 61. Dear students, always recite the dua before study. Rabbi Zidni Ilma. Today we will discuss the chapter number 5, Golden Age of Islam. I have divided this chapter into two parts. The first part is consists of Islamic scientists, and the second part I will upload the video in the next PPT of European explorers. Today I will discuss the achievements of the early Islamic world, the House of Wisdom, advances in medicines, chemists and alchemists, Muslim mathematicians, astronomy and astrology, languages, navigation, travel and trade, arts. In all these fields, Islam flourished. So we call this period, this age, the golden age of Islam. All right, students. It is the mind map of the chapter The Golden Age of Islam. As you all know, I have already discussed this chapter that Muslim scientists learned the new techniques of medicines, how to make it. They they tested the purity of metals and chemicals, and they learned the new techniques, the new designs of art, although they discouraged the picture of human and animals, but they worked on uh, plants and flowers pictures. They used astrolabe for navigation, travel and trade. They learned about astronomy and astrology. In mathematics they learned a lot of things. They derived lot of things. They derived formulas. And in the last we discussed the European explorers and their impacts on the golden age of Islam and voyages of discovery. As you all know, in the voyages of discovery in this topic, we all know that they drive the unknown stories and they got feared of unknown things in the sea. Further, we will discuss later on. Introduction. The time from the 8th to the 11th century is known as the Golden Age of Islam because during these centuries, Islamic culture flourished throughout the Muslim world. As Muslims came into contact with other civilizations, for example Byzantine, Persian and Indian ones, they were able to learn from them to help create their own civilization. For example, the work of ancient Greek scholars on medicine and astronomy was much more advanced than that of Muslim scholars. By studying Greek books, Muslims were able to advance their own thinking and get new ideas. For this purpose, the Caliph Ma'mun built the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. As you all know, there are three main cities: Samarkand, Cordoba, and Cairo. Remember these three cities. These are the great Islamic cities. Apart from these cities, the most important center of Islamic learning was the Abbasid capital of Baghdad in modern day Iraq, which became the intellectual center of the world. All right. In the House of Wisdom, it's a laboratory, you can say, or a library. In this House of Wisdom brought a new scientific spirit to the Muslim world. Here, the greatest works of ancient Greek were translated into Arabic. Many Muslim scholars who worked here were polymaths. You know who are polymaths? One who is expert in many subjects, known as polymaths. Ex- uh, for example, Abu Yusuf al-Kindi, who is sometimes called the first Arabic philosopher, studied and wrote about many subjects including medicine, geography, geology, astrology, optics, and even sword making. As the fame of Al-Kindi and scholars like him spread, students traveled from many countries to study under them. Advances in medicines. How did Muslim scientists work? Top Muslim scientists used and taught their students basic principles and study, not to accept anything as true until it had been tested and thoroughly with experiments. Alright, advances in medicines. Muslim scientists studied chemistry and pharmacy. They prepared medicines made from animal and plant extracts and from chemicals such as copper sulfate. They also investigated substances such as camphor, nutmeg, and cloves for use in medicine, experimented with dissolving medicine in liquids such as rose water, orange water, and alcohol so that people could drink it as a syrup. The word alcohol and syrup come from the Arabic words kohol and shurab. Use drugs including cannabis as an anesthetics. You know who is the great Muslim doctor? The great Muslim doctor was a Persian, Muhammad ibn Zakaria al-Razi. In his youth, he studied subjects including philosophy, magic, and chemistry. Later, he studied medicine in Baghdad, and soon he knew more than his teachers. You know, he knew more than his teachers. He wrote 100 medical books and was considered the greatest doctor of the Islamic world. His most famous work was smallpoxes and measles. Another physician, Ibn Sina, composed over 276 works, and the most prominent is Ibn Sina, Canon of Medicine, which contain all the medical knowledge of his time. Ibn Sina wrote this book, Canon of Medicine, and he was famous for his book. Soon the advances in medicine meant that hospitals could begin. The first Islamic hospital was built in Baghdad during the reign of Caliph Harun al-Rashid. The first Islamic hospital was built in Baghdad during the reign of Caliph Harun al-Rashid, and over the next few hundred years, many hospitals were started building throughout the Muslim world. And among these hospitals, one of the most famous was the Mansouri Hospital in Cairo, Egypt. It was so large that it could treat 8,000 people. Patients paid no money and anyone was accepted as a patient. So that was the greatest achievement in the medicines field, okay, by the Muslims. On Baghdad Hospital was built under the instructions of Al-Razi. When he was asked to choose the site, the place for the building, he hung up small pieces of meat in different places. You know why? The hospital was built at the place where the meat rotted the slowest because this was thought to be the most healthy place. You got this point? The meat rotted slowly in the place considered as the most healthy place for the building of the hospital. All right. Achievements in the field of alchemy and chemistry. First of all, you have to know what is alchemy and chemistry. Alchemy is the process of what are they do? They were chemists who searched for ways to convert common metals such as lead or copper into valuable metals such as silver and gold. Alchemy had been practiced in ancient Egypt and Greece. And in the golden age of Islam, Islamic scientists laid the foundations of modern chemistry. And what is chemistry? Science. It's a science that deals with the composition and properties of substances. So in this age, they tested the purity of metals and chemicals, which was connected with the studies in alchemy. In this field, one of the most famous Muslim alchemist was Jabir ibn Hayyan, who lived in Baghdad in the 8th century and wrote books about alchemy. He studied alchemy but also wrote about practical things. For example, making steel, dyeing cloth and leather, making cloth waterproof, protecting iron with varnish to stop it rusting, and making glass and hair dye. Another contributions to chemistry. In the field of chemistry, numerous Islamic works were translated into Latin. One of the fields of study in this area was alchemy. The Muslims, by exploring various elements, developed a good understanding of the constitution of matter. As you all know, I have already told about Jabir ibn Hayyan. The next point is a great number of terms used in chemistry such as alcohol, alembic, alkali and elixir are of Islamic origin. Muslim mathematicians Muslim mathematicians did much to advance the study of mathematics, building on the ideas of the Greeks. Islam made major strides in the field of algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. They used to solve practical problems. Contributions can be traced to Al-Khwarizmi in the 9th century. He introduced the fundamentals of algebra, and most revolutionary contribution was the development of numbers and the discovery of cipher. So before this age, we don't have the number 0. In the golden age of Islam, they contributed and uh, gave the idea of the 0 in Arabic numbers. Muslim contributions to civilization. Algebra. The study of algebra flourished during the Islamic Golden Age under the scholarship of mathematician Al-Khwarizmi. The word algebra is derived from algebra, an operation he used to solve quadratic equations. The introduction of algebra as a unifying theory significantly broadened the concept of mathematics and its development path. Another mathematician, Abu al-Hasan al-Yuqlidisi, he wrote the book Arithmetics of al-Yuqlidisi, and he mainly helped in the understanding of decimal fractions, and this happened in the 10th century. Alright students, so the decimal fraction was introduced in the 10th century. Alright, got my point? Achievements in astronomy and astrology. What is astronomy? Astronomy is the study of the sun, moon, stars, planets, comets, gas, dust, and other non-earthly bodies and phenomena. Astronomy is a science that studies everything outside of the Earth's atmosphere, such as planets, stars, asteroids, galaxies, and properties and relationships of those celestial bodies. Astrology, on the other hand, is the belief that the positioning of the stars and planets affect the way events occur on Earth. All right, students, got my point? Do you got it? What is astronomy and astrology? Astronomy is the study of the sun, moon, stars, and astrology is the define and studies the positioning of the stars and planets and their effects on the events occur on Earth. In the field of astronomy and astrology, Abu Abdullah al-Batni was a famous astronomer, mathematician, and astrologer. He has been held as one of the greatest astronomers of Islam. He is responsible for a number of important discoveries in astronomy, which was the result of a long career of 42 years of research beginning at Raqqa when he was young. His well-known discovery is the remarkably accurate determination of the solar year as being 365 days, 5 hours, 46 minutes and 24 seconds, which is very close to the latest estimates. He also observed eclipses and the movements of the sun and moon. His work became well known in Europe. Another important astronomer was Ibn Yunus, who was born in Egypt in the middle of the 10th century. He wrote an astronomical guide for Muslim prayers time. These tables had more than 10,000 calculations of the sun's position throughout the year and were used in Cairo until the 19th century. He observed uh, for his many trigonometrical and astronomical tables for calculating the prayer times for Muslims. In the golden age of Islam, Al-Biruni was considered as a cleverest man. Why? Because he knew several languages, 6 languages. Which one? He knew Turkish, Persian, Sanskrit, Hebrew, and Syriac as well as Arabic. So he was considered as a valuable person in this era of Islam. Alright, he wrote many things about India and Kashmir. And for the time being, he spent a few time in India and learned the culture of India and wrote about its culture and wrote the book Al-Biruni's India. Alright, student. In the field of navigation, travel and trade, Muslims' developments influence the world. What is navigation? Navigation is a field of study that focuses on the process of monitoring and controlling the movement of a craft or a vehicle from one place to another. All navigational techniques involve locating the navigator's position compared to known locations and or patterns. The activity or process of finding the way to get to a place when you are traveling in a ship, airplane, car, etc. In that time, the Muslim travelers use astrolabe. What is astrolabe? An astrolabe is an ancient tool used in solving problems that involve time and the position of the sun and stars. Astrolabes can be used in timekeeping, surveying, geography, astronomy, to name a few disciplines. Since it really is a visible map of the sky, it has proven extremely helpful in astronomical equations. And the Islamic world, astrolabes were used to find the times of sunrise and the rising of fixed stars to help, and it is invented by Greeks in the 2nd century and was developed further by Muslims. An astrolabe is a wooden or brass disc with degrees marked around its edges and is used to measure the height of the sun or star above the horizon. Navigation at sea. The astrolabe could be used to measure the height of the sun, and at noon it could tell a navigator at sea at which latitude he was. As I have told you, navigator used astrolabe for the position of him at the sea, which latitude he was. What is latitude? Latitude is a measurement on a globe or map which shows how far north or south of the equator something is. The equator is an imaginary line around the middle of the earth. So you got the point of what is latitude and what is equator. These are the measurement on a globe. All right, students. So astrolabe was used to tell the position, the latitude of a navigator at sea. All right. In the field of navigation, travel and trade, Al-Idris was a famous Arab geographer and map maker. For the maker, we have another word, cartographer. He contributed three works, geographic works. Number one, a silver planisphere on which was depicted a map of the world. Number two, a world map consisting of 70 sections formed by dividing the Earth north of the equator into seven climatic zones of equal width. And further, number third, each of which was subdivided into 10 parts by lines of longitude. He was born in North Africa and studied in Cordoba in his youth. He also traveled many areas of Western Europe and Mediterranean lands. In about 1145, Al-Idris was hired by King Roger II of Sicily and worked for him until his death. New shipbuilding techniques. For this purpose, dohas were designed and built by Arabs. It considered as the fastest trading ships. Trade developments. These developments helped in trading. Arabs and Persians, they traded in the Persian Gulf across the Indian Ocean, bringing silks, spices and jewels from India, Indonesia and China. In the Red Sea, on the East Africa coast, enslaves ivory and gold. Arab development spread to Europe. Europeans got the knowledge from Arab travelers. They learned how to navigate with the astrolabe and experimented with new types of sail. So these developments helped Arab traders in across these areas. All right, students. Achievements in the field of arts. Islamic art mainly based on geometrical designs and plants or flowers. Figures of animals and human was discouraged by Islam. They developed new designs in this golden age of Islam. You know, new developments, architecture, famous early mosques, decorative arts, and textiles, calligraphy. Most distinctive style of Islamic building is the mosque with dome and minaret. The minaret was a Muslim contribution to architecture. As you can see the picture of the mosque, it is the mosque built by Umayyads and the Abbasids. These included the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem and the Great Mosque at Damascus. The earliest surviving Abbasid mosque is the famous Great Mosque at Samarra near Baghdad, built in the mid-9th century. As you can see, the artwork of Islamic designers, they created new designs in calligraphy, in glasswork, in buildings. Muslim craftsmen developed their own styles of mosaic. This art of making pictures with small pieces of glass or tile was learned from the Byzantine. Do you know what is calligraphy? It is using writing as an art. Quotations from the Quran and other Islamic texts were used to decorate buildings and artifacts, as you can see in the picture. In the beginning of the 15th century, Europeans knew very little about the world. Journeys by land and sea were dangerous. Travelers were attacked by bandits and pirates. Sailors had to face storms, shipwrecks, and disease. So they created the unknown stories. There were other stories too. If you sail to the far north, it was said there was a world of darkness where seas turned solid and the blood froze. And as compared to the north, to the south, the sea would boil your blood and burn your skin black. Near the equator, the sea turned into sticky syrup. To the west, in the Atlantic Ocean, ships were wrecked by huge sea snakes. So these are the fear of unknown. They created these stories, and these stories were created by Europeans. All right, and we will do further discuss the Europeans explorers in the next PPT. All right, students. Home assignment. First of all, you have to make the title page of the chapter. Then you have to make the mind map of the chapter. Then we start doing these question answers. Question number one, what does latitude mean? Number two, what theory did Al-Biruni have about the Indus Valley? Question number three, what did people think might happen to you if you sail to the far north? Exercise number two, complete these sentences with these choices. Sharif al-Idris, Mamun, mathematician, navigation. Number A, Caliph Dash built the House of Wisdom. Number B, as well as being an astronomer, Abu Abdullah al-Batni was also a Dash. Number C, Ibn Yunus and al-Biruni helped make great advances in Dash. Number D, Dash was a famous Arab geographer and map maker. All right, students. The answer of question number 2 you can find it on page number 65 fact box. It is the fact box is the answer of question number 2.